This video contains explicit language. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Your girl loves cartoons from back in the day. I really do. And most of them I will go back and rewatch. I could put on SpongeBob any day. But y'all, you cannot pay me to go back and watch.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandra and thank you so much for tuning in. As you guys know, your girl currently lives in China. Okay, I moved over here so that I could teach English as a second language, and my first job was actually in Shenyang, and I worked at a training center. Now, I'm not going to give names and all that other stuff. I don't even know if the training center is still open, to be honest. After hearing the story, you're going to probably understand why I think it's probably not even open at this time. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So when I moved here in August of 2019, I started working at this training center. And, I did a little bit of research on the training center. Everything seemed fine and dandy. And at first it was, pretty chill. My apartment was literally right above the school. I lived in an apartment building that was right above the mall that was hosting my school. And, well, it's not school, a training center. That was hosting the training center. And so I didn't have to worry about a commute. The dress code was very chill, very lax. It was just a t-shirt that I had to wear and then, comfortable pants because, you're playing around with the kids. And the actual teaching part of it, super freaking easy. That you had so much freedom to design your classes the way you wanted to. And me being a creative person, I love that part. I'd be able to think of different ways I can teach the children, different ways that they learn better. And I could really focus on getting the information to them. And plus, the curriculum that they wanted us to teach was pretty straightforward. It was heavily based on teaching vocabulary, sentence structure, how to, just have normal conversations with people. It was pretty good because it was centered around the age group that the kids were in. You weren't required to teach really small children very difficult material. It was very age appropriate. So I liked that. It was a chill job at first, y'all. And my coworkers were decent. They be going to the office, cutting up. For the first part of my teaching career, I had two other black coworkers. And so that was cool, being able to go in there and see other black people. Because, when you go out into the streets living in China, you don't see anybody black unless you go to these foreigner events and shit. So, it was pretty cool at first. And the first red sign or flag or whatever you want to call it, the first, oh shit, you done fucked up signing this contract was the first time they decided to pay your girl late. Okay? And this will be a reoccurring issue throughout my time at the school. Payday would come up and be like, oh, okay, we getting paid. Let's go. Let's get it. Get this paycheck. And it just seemed like it started getting later in the day that the check would clear. Okay? So I started out by getting paid. I would get paid at 5. And I was like, yeah, got my money. Next time, getting paid at 6. Okay, I still got my money. It's all good. Next, I'm getting paid at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And it's well, damn, why is it taking so long to get the damn money? The accountant's there. What the fuck? And then I remember that first time I looked at my account that night and it didn't have no money in it. And I went to sleep. I was like, you know what? They'll pay it between the night, And then I wake up, check my shit, and my money still ain't there. I was like, Raggy? Excuse me? And I'm messaging folks. I'm like, did y'all get paid? I'm like, no, we didn't get paid yet. Now I'm messaging the freaking management. I'm like, so what's up with these paychecks? Oh, the accountant, she wasn't in work today, so she's gonna do the paychecks when she comes into work. Excuse me? In my contract, it says I'm gonna get paid on this day. What you mean? Y'all ain't scheduled the accountant to come in and work. So apparently the school has some weird ass setup where, the accountant wasn't really like someone that worked there all the time. They were like, come and go and work. And it was just a hot ass mess. And when I tell you the paychecks kept coming in the day after, and I would message the accountant, I had it got that bad where I added the accountant's WeChat and I started messaging them. I was like, when is my paycheck coming in? And I started being proactive about it. I would message her the day of paychecks and I would be like, can we expect paychecks today? I know her ass got annoyed with me. She got so annoyed with me. Look, I didn't give a fuck. I was going to message because I'm getting my money. Okay, I got bills. Sally Mae ain't going to give a shit if I say, oh, my job, they didn't schedule the accountant today, so I couldn't get my money. So that's why I don't have my, they don't give a fuck about that. Okay, Sally Mae is like, bitch, better have my money. And I ain't about to be nobody's bitch not having their money. So, I'm not trying to deal with that. Especially since I worked for that money. It's not like I'm asking for something that I did not work for. I work for my money. I need to get paid. And it just became a reoccurring issue. And so, COVID happens and everything shuts down. School shuts down. We didn't do online training, which, it is what it is. I don't really fault the school for that necessarily. And our paychecks got cut in half. We started getting paid half our income, and that was difficult. I'm not gonna lie, that was very difficult. It did drive me to open my own business and start selling baked goods and selling the vegan meals, which was very good for me as a person to develop that skill and be able to make money out of nothing, by using my skills. I'm a good cook. I like to cook. I be chefing it up. Call me Chef Girl RD, okay? I be chefing it up. And so I was, making the meals, sending them out, and I was, supplementing my income as much as I could and keeping myself busy because, if you've been locked in your house for so much time, it is so easy to go crazy. And I know my peoples out there in Shanghai, they're going through it right now. Spending that much time inside, you have to keep yourself busy. You have to keep yourself on the ball doing stuff. So, I started doing my business and things like that. Eventually, the school did reopen, which was exciting because it was like, finally, I'm going to get a full paycheck again. I still have this supplemental income. I was excited to go back to work. I'm not going to lie. Your girl was excited to go back to work. And, at first, the paychecks were coming in on time. I was still messaging the accountant, but the paychecks were coming in on time at first. But then I look at my damn payment, little payment thing where it tells you the breakdown of your pay salary. And I was like, these some high ass taxes. I went from having like a couple hundred RMB out of my paycheck from taxes to like thousands of RMB being taken out of my paycheck. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, excuse me? Why are you taking this much money out of my check? And they were like, oh, well, it's because, during the lockdown, we weren't taking out taxes. You were cutting my paycheck in half during that time. So what the fuck are you talking about? You didn't take money out for taxes. I was already getting half my salary. So what are you talking about? And I'm just like questioning this shit. I'm like, what is going on? I need records for this. I need records detailing what money you're taking out and all this other stuff. Because it's like, how do you know they're not being fraudulent in that? And that's the kind of sticky situation that you run into as a foreigner, especially in like a place like China, where you don't speak the language at all and the translation could be all fucked up. And so it's like you don't know fully if they're taking out these taxes and actually paying them to the government. It's very hard to prove that they're paying all the money that they're saying unless you get all the documentation and then look at the numbers and see if they add up. And even trying to get those tax forms was a mess. Okay, we literally had to beg these motherfuckers to give us our damn tax information so they could prove that they were not doing something fraudulent with our money. And so that was another red flag, huge red flag. I was like, what the fuck is this? My contract was only for a year. And so when the school was reopening, that was around the time that I needed to sign for a new contract. And these motherfuckers gave me my contract like a couple days before my other contract was going to end. not giving me enough time to, really read the contract, not giving me enough time to consider other schools if I wanted to go to a different school, try to look for better pay. They gave me literally like the least amount of time to possibly look through my shit. And you know what's so freaking stupid about that situation? The reason why I got my damn contract late, and this is gonna like, y'all gonna be like, what the hell after you hear this? So my supervisor was this one dude, and me and him, we were cool at first. He was showing me around the city. It was cool. We would hang out sometimes. No big issue. I forget what it was that happened, but he did something that was real fucking stupid. And I was like, man, I don't want to fucking talk to you no more. I was like, I don't want to hang out with you on a personal level. Keep it business. We're not friends. You're just my supervisor, and I don't fuck with you like that. This dude gonna message me like a week before my contract is over. Or maybe it was 2 weeks. He gonna message me and say, hey, would you like to go out for dinner? And invited me to go out and hang out with him for dinner. I ghosted him. I didn't say a damn thing. I didn't reply. I left that shit on red because I have no interest in going out to fucking eat with you. He didn't mention that there was a reason why he wanted to talk to me. He didn't say it had anything to do with my school. He didn't say anything had to do with professionalism. Not a damn thing. This dude just invited me out. I left him on dust. Did not say anything. And then a couple, a week later or 2 weeks later, the damn principal of the school is messaging me like, hey, have you thought about your contract? I was like, I haven't seen the contract. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, well, you need to sign the contract. Your other contract's almost over, and we need to redo your visa, and we got to do this, we got to do that. And it was very time sensitive. I'm like, messaging him. I'm like, you were supposed to send me my contract? And he gonna say some shit like,
well, I messaged you about going out to eat, but you didn't respond to me, so I didn't say anything.
So I have to go out to eat with you to find out that I need my new contract? I was so close to cussing him out. I know I did like corporate speak, cuss him out. And I was like, look, that's completely inappropriate. If you have something to tell me as far as the school goes, as far as my contract, as far as anything that has to do with my professional relationship with you, that shouldn't be hidden behind, hey, go out to eat with me. And so I felt rushed. This was the only school that I ever worked at. So I felt pressured to re-sign with that same exact school. And then on top of that, I was supposed to get a pay raise. Okay, they gave me an extra like 2,000 RMB or something like that on my salary. And when I started seeing those the pay stub come out, it's almost as if I didn't even see that raise because of how much taxes they were taking out of my shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I got a pay raise and I'm not even seeing it. Like, I'm making the same amount of money that I was making before. And then after that, one of my other coworkers who started maybe like a month after I was working there, her contract was over and she was like, fuck this school. And she was looking at another school that she wanted to go to. And see, she finished out her contract. She didn't break contract. She didn't leave early, but the school was trying to force her to stay. And she was telling me all about this because at the time we were friends. And, I might be a distant person, but when I know one of my friends is going through it, I'll be having it back. She was telling me all this stuff about like, what the school was doing, all this shady ass shit. They were trying to tell the other school, well, you have to pay us for us to transfer these documents. And this is the type of stuff that you have to look out for if you're trying to teach English or do any kind of business as a foreigner in China, is that some of these places are fraudulent as fuck and they will hold your documents hostage. Okay, they will hold your shit hostage and try to force you through scare tactics to do this, that, and the third. It's really jacked up and it's kind of scary because you're a foreigner. You don't read Chinese. And something that I realized, just recently was they translate your document for you, your contract for you. But what some of these schools will do is the contract you sign that's in English will be a false translation of the Chinese contract. You feel me? Because they know most of us don't read Chinese. We're just going to read the English version of the contract and sign those agreements. But the contract that holds up in Chinese court is the Chinese document, not the shit that they translate for you. She was going through it. And me, as a supportive friend that I actually am and was to this person, I told the school, I was like, you know what? Y'all need to do right by her. Until y'all do right by her, I'm not coming in. I put my foot down on it. And I told my supervisor, I was like, this is some bullshit. And, let me tell you how the type of person that this supervisor is. He was like,
yeah, that's right. I agree with you. We need to stand together and make sure she gets her documents.
The day comes where we're supposed to stand together and stay home because they're fucking over our supposed friend. This dude completely leaves me out there with no support at all. I'm sticking to it. Y'all need to do right by her. I'm not coming in. And I made that very clear. And eventually they did give her documents, but her school had to pay them some stupid ass fee. They shook down the damn agency that got her the job. Like, it was just a lot of foolishness. It's very ironic because this is a communist country, but a lot of capitalist practices. But that's a conversation for another day. See, schools in China, a lot of times they will shake down school you're trying to go to for money. Like, they'll just hold up documents. They'll make the transferring process very difficult. They will basically try to put you in a position where you have to go home, reapply for all your shit, and then come back to China. Like, they will go out of their way. Very vindictive and evil and just detestable in every way, shape, or form. And that's the type of school I was working for when I was in Shenyang. And seeing them do that to her, I was like, oh, hell nah. This is some bullshit. And then the last final straw happened, y'all. The last straw happened for me. My paycheck was late yet again. It was late yet again. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. Fuck this shit. I'm out. And another reason why, I was really irritated was because not only were they paying our paychecks late, they were also paying the Chinese teachers their paychecks late. And the school still hadn't paid them the money that, the relief money that they were supposed to pay them during the time when the school was closed. So a lot of those Chinese teachers, first of all, their pay was shit. Okay, to put this into perspective, my salary at the training center was around 16,000 RMB. My co-teacher who had longer hours than she was getting paid probably around 2,000 RMB, 2,500 RMB, somewhere around those lines. They get little tiny bonuses here and there, but the pay gap is completely ridiculous. So they're already getting paid shit. But on top of that, they didn't pay them the relief money that they were supposed to pay them during the time when the school was closed down. And I had been telling the other foreign teachers during our meetings, I was like, look, we have a lot of power in this school because the school can't operate without the foreign teacher. Okay, these parents pay money because of the foreign teachers. And so I was telling them, look, we need to do right by these other people. Your girl's a slight social justice warrior, just very slightly. Okay, I like to do what's right by people. And I told them, I was like, look, we need to take a stand on this shit because this behavior is fucked up. They already paying our shit late. They haven't paid them at all. We need to tell them, this isn't appropriate because the parents are still paying the school. So it's not like they don't have money coming in. Okay, the parents pay a lot of money to send their kids to these training centers. And we had a lot of kids going to our schools. And so it was just ridiculous. And when they paid that shit late that last time, I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And I started looking for other jobs. And I actually landed the job that I currently have now. And so I gave them more than enough notice about me leaving. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Don't fuck with me. I'm done. Better have my fucking documents. And I went thug life on them. I'm not even gonna lie. I told them straight point blank, on this day, you're gonna have my documents. I don't give a fuck what you gotta do. And I was on their ass about my documents. Every single day I was messaging them. I was gonna annoy them into submission. All this is happening. I'm still messaging the accountant that I need my money on time. And what's so ironic and funny to me is that, by this time, my other coworkers that were Black, they had already left. They weren't in the school anymore. So I was the only Black person there. And when I tell you, I had told these people over and over again that we need to do something about this late salary, about them not paying the Chinese teachers, all this other shit. It came a time where I got my paycheck, but the rest of them didn't. That's what's so funny. I got my paycheck, but the rest of them didn't. And they were like,
hey Sandra, we're really getting tired of the school not paying out the paychecks on time, and we're gonna not go into work today.
And they wanted me to stand in solidarity with them. And of course they, you know how that white savior complex kind of kicks in for a lot of folks. They were like, oh, well, we're going to tell them that not only do they need to pay our salaries, but they need to pay the Chinese teachers. And I'm like, bitch, I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that we need to do that. I've been told y'all that we needed to put our foot down about these Monies issues. I've been told y'all. And, at first I was like, you know what? I'll stand in solidarity with them. I won't go in. But then I talked to one of my friends. Shout out to Ty. He's a real one. I talked to one of my friends. And he was like, bitch, they paid you. You better take your ass to work. He was like, fuck them. Okay, fuck them. Do you think if you were the only one that didn't get your paycheck, but they got paid, that they would stay home for your black ass? And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to head out and go to work. And you know what your girl did? I put my outfit on. I was a little late that day, but I got my ass into work. And I was there. And, it was just so annoying. And they ended up talking to the school and stuff like that. The owner of the school sent out some bullshit as apology, saying, oh, I'm not doing anything fraudulent with the money. I'm just, I loaned the money to this person and I'm waiting for them to pay me back. But I'm sorry and I'm going to do better. And also the blah, blah, blah bullshit that means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because you have a history of not paying motherfuckers. You have a history of not paying on time. So why am I going to all of a sudden now believe you? These folks, instead of sticking to their guns, they're like, okay, we're going to give the school a chance. And they went into work the next day. And they try to phrase it as, we're still lobbying for the Chinese teachers to get their paychecks and all this other shit. And once they got their paychecks, you heard nothing about the Chinese teachers ever again. It was all a fucking facade to make it seem like they were thinking of everyone, but not just thinking of themselves. Okay. A lot of that shit was virtue signaling. They didn't give a shit about those people's paychecks. They didn't give a fuck. And, at that point, I had already checked out. I was like, fuck y'all. Okay. I had a fucking attitude at that job at that point. I walked in with a straight face. I smiled at the kids. I smiled at my coworker. After that, it was, I'm in my zone, prepping for my trip to a new city, prepping for myself to go to a new school. I'm not thinking about y'all motherfuckers. Okay? Don't talk to me. We not friends. Okay? We not friends. I don't want to be friends with people like that. Okay? Because when our other coworker was going through it, y'all motherfuckers did act like nothing was happening. So it's just like, just a very fraudulent ass school. And I got tired of my paycheck being late. I got tired of them treating the fucking Chinese teachers like shit. And I got tired of those fucking virtue signaling ass white people that I worked with that were full of shit. I got tired of all them motherfuckers. And so at a certain point, it was just like, look, I gotta go. I'm out this bitch. I gave my notice. I got all my documents. I forced them to give me my documents in a timely fashion. And I left. Okay. I left. And luckily, like, my new school didn't have to pay no bullshit to the old school. And I was able to sever ties with that school fairly safely and easily. But y'all, look, if you take anything from this video, it is cross your T's and dot your I's before you sign contracts, and be very cautious if you are going to sign contracts in a country where you do not speak the language. Okay, because you can find yourself in a really fucked up situation. But that's it. If you like this content, you already know what to do. Like, share, comment, and definitely subscribe. In the description box will be a link to the trailer for the Vision, as well as a link to the Patreon so that you can get early access to the Vision. Also in the description box will be all my links. Okay, we got Discord, we got Twitter, and we got Instagrams. But thank you so much, and I will see you either with the next live stream or the next video.